Hi, my name is Ari Spiegler, currently of Cleveland, Ohio. I had the opportunity to work at Camp Stone from the summer of 2000 through the summer of 2006. All sorts of different positions there, sports staff, hadracha, Beit Midrash, Rosh Beit Midrash, Rosh Machal, all sorts of wonderful things at Camp Stone, and I'm so happy to have the opportunity to participate just a little bit in this year's Indoor World version of Camp Stone. I wanted to share, like I said, a few minutes of Torah on Parshat Balak. I chose that because both in Chutz La'aretz as well as in Eretz Yisrael, we'll be reading from Parshat Balak. Many of us are familiar with the story. Balak, who's the king of Moab, he hires Bila'am, who is a prophet from Midian. He hires him to curse the Jewish people. And Bila'am tries as best he can to curse the Jewish people, but ultimately Hashem turns those attempted curses into blessings. Now, if you look at one of those attempted curses that are given toward the Jewish people, like we said, eventually turns into blessings. So sort of in the introduction to that curse, Bila'am refers to himself as Yodea Da'ad Elyon. Okay, this is in Perek Chavdal Pasuk Tet Zayin. Bila'am refers to himself as Yodea Da'ad Elyon, that he has some sort of elevated knowledge, a knowledge of something elevated. And if you look in the Gemara Masechet Avodah Zarah on Daf Daled Amud Bet, you could also look at the Gemara Masechet Brachot on Daf Zayin Amud Aleph. So the Gemara tries to figure out, what is this Yodea Da'ad Elyon? What is this elevated knowledge that Bila'am has? So the Gemara, tells us that Bila'am had a special power, and that he was able to tap into the fraction of a second each day that Hashem becomes angry. Hashem expresses his anger for just a fraction of a day, something around a 16th of a second. And Bila'am somehow knew each and every day when exactly that second was going to be. And he was able to harness that. He was able to utilize that in order to cause damage toward people through cursing. So that's what the Gemara says. What is it that makes him Yodea Da'ad Elyon? What elevated knowledge does he have? He has this special ability to zero in on that split second of each and every day where Hashem is angry, and to utilize it in order to cause damage to other people. That's his elevated knowledge. Now, if you look at the Balei Tosfot in their commentary to those Gemaras, the Gemara Masechet Avodah Zarah on Daf Daled Amud Bet, and the Gemara Masechet Brachot on Daf Zayin Amud Aleph, the Balei Tosfot ask a very simple question. They say, what kind of curse could Bila'am use? How is he going to tap into this split second of anger of Hashem in order to cause damage? He only has a 16th of a second. What kind of curse is he going to give? And especially if you look at his attempted curses in this week's parsha, it seems like he had a lot that he wanted to say. How is he going to possibly cram that into a split second of anger? So the Balei Tosfot suggests, number one, maybe he just knew that time and he could use a one-word phrase to cause damage. What phrase would that be? Kalem, which means destroy them. So as soon as he saw that this is the time where Hashem is going to be angry, he would say Kalem, and he would direct it toward some person or some nation, I guess in our case, and that would be enough to go ahead and destroy or cause great damage to that person or to those people. That's one answer that the Balei Tosfot suggests. Another answer that they suggest is perhaps that you're right, he can't cram a very large and powerful curse into a split second, into a 16th of a second, but as long as he started at the beginning of Hashem's anger, he would be able to continue, he would be able to extend that moment well beyond and be able to say whatever it is that he wanted to say. So two different possibilities. When is Bila'am going to give his curse? Well, he's going to give it when Hashem is angry. Either he's going to use that split second to just say the word kalem, destroy them, or as long as he starts right at the proper moment, he's going to be able to extend that well beyond. And this is actually a fascinating halachic conversation. You should know we know that each and every day there's certain tefillot that we need to say, whether it's Kriyat Shema, whether it's the Amidah, the Shemona Esrei. We know that we need to say those things by different points. In the morning, it has to be by one point. In the afternoons and the evenings, it needs to be a different point. There is an interesting halachic question. So when we have those windows of time, when I reach that boundary, do I need to make sure that I've both started and finished that tefillah, let's say my Kriyat Shema, before that window is up, or can I, as long as I start it within the window, even if I extend beyond that point, maybe it should be okay? This is a fascinating halachic conversation, and it may tie back to these two different opinions within the Balei Tosfot, because maybe they're arguing, maybe those two different opinions are arguing about this very point. Do I have to do my tefillah at the exact time in the window, both start and finish? That would align with the first opinion, that Bila'am would say kalem during that split second, or do I need to just start it at the right time and then I can extend it beyond? So fascinating halachic conversation. If you want different sources on the matter, matter, please reach out to me. It seems like best case scenario, you start and finish within that window of time. Very good. So the Bali Tosfot, they ask an interesting question. It may or may not have halachic implications, but what is perhaps a homiletic message that we could take away from one of these opinions? So it's fascinating. The Gemara there is really dealing with this idea of Hashem being angry, expressing some sort of anger over a time during the day, whether it's a split second, whether it starts here and it can be extended, so on and so forth. It's just fascinating specifically about anger. And if you think about it, if you've ever had a situation where, God forbid, you got angry, you lost your cool, you lost your temper about a certain issue, maybe you would notice, it's fascinating, that if you get angry sometimes, that could really ruin the entire day. Even if you're angry for just a split second, somehow that could ruin the entire day. You could take that with you, right? You get really upset, you get bent out of shape, and it's not just the split second that you're angry, right? You thought something wasn't going to go a certain way, and then a moment later you realize everything's going to be fine, but because you got worked up for that 1 second, everything sort of doesn't work. The rest of the day you're sort of in a bad mood. You're not happy, things didn't go the way you wanted them to, or even if they fixed themselves, it just didn't work. And perhaps maybe one of the messages that we can extract from the Bali Tosfot is that when it comes to this midah, when it comes to this character trait of anger, of getting angry, of losing my cool, even though sometimes it might only last a split second, that split second is potentially really, really harmful. And at times it can be extended well beyond that split second. Isn't that fascinating? And that perhaps is what the Bali Tosfot are trying to impart to us, is that, when it comes to the midah of kas, when it comes to this character trait of anger, be really, really careful, because sometimes it's only a 16th of a second where you're angry, but nevertheless, it could really affect the entire day. It could be extended well beyond that small window of time. And I'll just point out really quickly, because I see I'm running out of time, that if you think about it, we, in general, we like to assume that the midah tova is miruba from the midah of puranut. And in general, when things are true of something negative in this world, they're much more true for things which are positive, or they're even better, let's say, for things that are positive. So if that's true when it comes to midah of anger, that the midah of anger can be extended, right? That it will last even longer than maybe I want it to, and it could ruin the entire day if I get bent out of shape or if I get angry. The same is certainly going to be true about something which is positive. If I could think of something positive, if I could do something positive, if I could help someone out, even though it might just be for a split second during that day, what we find is that positive action, that positive attitude, that could actually last a lot longer as well. So while it is true of the midah of kas, it's true of the character trait of anger, that maybe I'm upset for a split second and that could extend much beyond that, and I have to be extra special careful, I should recognize also that when I do one small thing which is positive, whether it's for myself, certainly if it's for other people, that will not only brighten up my day, it will not only help me during that split second, but it'll go well beyond that. And I'll just tell you really quickly, because, it's sort of a weird year at Camp Stone. Many of us who would have liked to be there can't be there. And that's a big shame. And, we're doing the best we can, but obviously it's not exactly the same. But we're so lucky because all those positive memories that we have from Camp Stone, they can go along with us. I will tell you that there is not a single Shabbat, there isn't a single Shabbat where I don't think about Camp Stone. Whether it's at Kabbalat Shabbat and I'm hearing a certain tune and I remember, that's the song that we would sing at Camp Stone. Or maybe it's not the tune and I would rather the tune from camp, whatever the case may be, or whether it's Shirah, whether it's the meals, whether it's dancing, right? All those experiences that I can't have right now, it's a shame, but because I had them before, I could somehow take them with me. And that's something that hopefully we can work on. We could recognize that we have to be extra special careful when it comes to things which are negative, that it might feel like it's only going to be a split second, but it goes and can be extended much longer. But more than that, when it comes to good things as well, even though they may only last a split second, I can take them with me as well. I can extend them, I can tap into them at later points. So this summer, unfortunately, we can't all be together at Camp Stone, but at the same time, we have those positive memories and we can extend them. So even during a difficult summer like this one, we have all those things that we could take with us. So each and every one of us, we should think about this answer to the Bali Tosfot and think about the power of Bila'am, the Yodea Dad Al Yon, the elevated knowledge that he had, the ability to perhaps extend a moment of anger. Each and every one of us should recognize that we have to be careful about that. And more than that, anything which is good, we could take with us as well. We could extend that. We could brighten up our day and certainly the days of other people if we want to do good. So let's make sure we take advantage of our time, be careful about those bad things, and tap into all those wonderful things, extend them well beyond the split second of good. Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbat. Again, thank you so much for including me in this wonderful, wonderful event.